to go, GNCC Racing!
Round 3 of the Bike Championship chase of the Amsoil Grand National Cross Country Series, the venerable Maxxis General GNCC at Aonia Pass Motocross in Georgia. Here's the highlights of Round 2, our last race just a few days ago. The Wild Boar GNCC in the sands of Palatka, Florida. And you never know who's going to shine in a different type of terrain than we're normally used to seeing in the rough and tumble world of cross country. And in this case, it was the motocrosser from Canada, Kevin Benoit, grabbing the whole shot over Josh Strang early. Quickly overhauling them would be Stu Baylor. And Baylor would pull a gigantic lead early on, but 3 hours of riding hard in the sand. You never know who's giving their maximum effort early and who is saving some energy for late. Josh Strang and the Rockstar Husqvarna looked very good early, running in second, the popular veteran out of Australia. As for Caleb Russell, your defending series champ, bent his shift lever, and the team had to go to work. It was shocking, actually, though, how quickly they were able to make the change on that bike. Baylor's lead held up for a while, but you had a feeling that both Russell and Russell's ace championship rival, Thad Duvall, would get in the mix, and they did. Eventually, Russell would overhaul Baylor, then Duvall would get him as well and try to get Russell as well. Here's Russell running through the lead, trying to stay dry through those deep mud holes, and he would. Last year, he and Duvall took it all the way down to the wire the last turn. This time, a little bit bigger lead for Caleb. You see Thad lurking in the back, but Russell, despite the bent shift lever, wins the race. And he also won the opener in South Carolina, so he's 2 for 2 to start the season. After 3 hours in the sand, though, you can tell these guys are tired.
Bad start, bad jump, and me and Thad kind of hooked up, and we just kind of traded crashes. I'd go down, then pick my bike up, then he'd go down, and it was one of those races that nothing was going right for me at the beginning, and I got to situate that. I feel like I'm going good, then just a little mental error, and I crashed, bent my shifter today. I watered out my goggles on the first lap, and just dumb little things that put me at a deficit, and it makes me work a lot harder. And Stu was up there and set sail, but we just kept steady laps, and I felt really good on this side, so I'd always push in the sand and then use the other half of the track to kind of regroup and kind of get back in the flow, and then hammer again when we get back over here. But it's a brutal day. I just got to give it up to the whole FMF KTM team. All the fans out there today. Thank you.
And one of the most difficult things, as you look at the Rocky Mountain ATV MC results from that race, is the short turnaround. Normally you have 2 weeks between races, this time only 1. And because of that brutal sand, a lot of the riders come in here feeling less than 100%. They are sore, their energy reserves are drained. We'll see how aggressive they can go. Rodney Tomlin with the traditional 10 seconds live race call. Mad rush down to turn 1. Caleb Russell going to get the start. Josh Strang right with him. But the All Balls Racing Whole Shot Award goes to Russell, who doesn't always do his best work at the beginning of the race. So put him up front like this. It'll be interesting. Oh, and down goes Thad Duvall. So Russell's primary competitor week in and week out is on the ground while Russell is in the lead. We'll go back to the start for XC2. It's our 250 class. A lot of young talent on the line here. Looked like Nick Davis had a line for it on the inside of the pink gear, but no, it's going to be the 7 Deuce Deuce. Zach Hayes with the Hot Cams Whole Shot Award. And the 250s are off and rolling. One more class will follow up the start here, and that'll be the XC3 125 class backed by FMF. And here they are at the starting line. And the 125s are underway. Shooting out of the center. Alex Teagarden. No, he's going to get overhauled right here at the hole shot stripe. Jacob Rowland is going to grab your hole shot award. So he'll steal $100 from Weisco. This class is wide open. Got Jason Raines, former contender for the overall championship in this series, back to racing at age 40. Cody Barnes has been quick in that class. Jesse Ainsley back to our XC1 division. Russell leads. Ricky Russell, no relation, right behind him. Stu Beller, Trevor Bollinger, Josh Strang, Grant Baylor, woo, and Wild Wally Palmer. And that's Wild Wally for you. That man goes fast, but he, as the nickname would imply, does make mistakes here and there. Palmer normally running Endurocross, joining us for GNCC today. Thad Duvall making tracks. He's already passed about half of the field after going down in the second turn. And a 3-hour race. Don't panic when you have an opening lap mistake. Caleb Russell leads the way right now in Georgia. Let's see if anyone can run him down.
The Amsoil GNCC series on Racer TV is brought to you in part by Amsoil, the first in synthetics, Rocky Mountain ATVMC, get ready, and Monster Energy, unleash the beast.
This is the RacerTV.com live feed. You can watch every weekend at the races, and even the teams like Coastal Racing use it to keep track of their riders during the event until the riders come into the pit area, and that's when the teams find out what's happening direct. This is Austin Lee of the Johnny Camel Racing Honda team, and you can see he's had some bike problems, even going to try to pitch in and help the squad. But Lee, who races the XC2 class, has had better days. Ricky Russell now leading the way in the XC1 Pro class over Trevor Bollinger, so things have changed in a hurry right now. Caleb Russell bounced back to third, and Thad Duvall has caught him from fourth. So we're going to have another Russell and Duvall battle, despite one being first and one being last early in the race. But if you're Ricky Russell or Trevor Bollinger, you don't care about that one bit. Bollinger has come into this his second season in XC1, a lean, mean fighting machine. He looks much improved from last year, and he's ready to take the fight to the champ and Duvall. And as for Ricky Russell, he won a race last year, representing the Ampro Yamaha factory team and looking very good in Georgia. First two rounds didn't go the way that Ricky probably wanted them to, but he is out here with a vengeance today. And awesome to see four different brands with a Honda, Yamaha, Husqvarna, and KTM all in the jumbled mix. Up front, it's the Yamaha man leading out of the great Pacific Northwest. Ricky Russell had a dream to come race GNCC. It's a long way from home to be out here in Georgia, but he's riding this track like he's quite familiar with the soil. Ricky Russell leading, Caleb Russell in second, and they've both gotten around Bollinger because here comes Thad Duvall in that Rockstar Husqvarna. So Bollinger makes a bobble. I think that's the newcomer to the XC1 class, Lane Michael, right behind him in the KR4 Husqvarna. Look at Ricky Russell absolutely hauling the mail right now. Caleb and Thad are going to have to push to try to get to him. So a great ride by Ricky Russell. This is lap traffic, and look at how many lines there are here. That is always a staple of racing here in the woods surrounding the Aonia Pass motocross track. Lots of places to make passes. That's Jordan Ashburn on the Beta running well today. Oh no, Ricky Russell is in the Ampro Yamaha pit. Things were going his way, but now it appears he has had bike problems. I cannot believe that. And taking advantage of all this is Thad Duvall, who, remember, was on the ground in a corner like this early in the race and found himself in last. Look at Bollinger putting the fight to Caleb Russell. They both got around Bollinger, and he's coming right back at them, the sophomore. 2 years ago, the champion in the XC2 class. This is impressive. And he's still right there. Three-rider battle for the lead. It's a good one here in Georgia. Trying to find fourth. I think it might still be Ashburn. Yes, on the Beta. And then he has Lane Michael right with him. And then Josh Strang with a host of lap riders all around them. The Beta team as Stu Baylor comes through, is managed by Rodney Smith, legend of GNCC Racing, 5-time champion. So whatever they've learned about the machine, whatever advice he's giving to Ashburn, paying off. He's running very well on the number 12 right now. But through the Monster Mile, this is the most difficult section of the track. They made it as rough as possible. It looks like riding on the surface of another planet out here. And when you have to race for 3 hours, it's hard enough to pound through woods. Taking on completely odd-shaped whoops and moguls like this, that is really going to sap the energy. But right now, it's Duval over Russell, just trying to get away from Bollinger a bit. And doubling some of these sections are Duval and Russell. That shows how far they've upped their game. It is full motocross style obstacles and intensity right now, as Duval's aiming for his first win of the season, and Russell's trying to run him down.
The Amsoil GNCC series on Racer TV is brought to you in part by Amsoil, the first in synthetics. Rocky Mountain ATVMC, get ready. And Monster Energy, unleash the beast.
Well, that's the message for Thad Duval. You've got to want it more than everyone else. Look, there's a lot of bad Thad fans in the woods, and their man was leading. But now, Caleb Russell has gotten back around him. Let's see if Thad can fight back. These are the types of battles the GNCC fans have come to expect. Russell and Duval taking it to a whole new level in intensity for 3 straight hours, splitting the lap traffic right now. And again, look at the speed Duval carries through those ruts and through those trees. And it paid off. Duval has retaken the lead from Russell. Russell looking to get it back. What a move! Down the inside, feet practically off the pegs. Both tires in the air. You can tell we're down to the final moments of this race, and both riders are throwing everything they have at it to try to get this win. Oh, and another big moment for Russell. Back into the bike, kicks, and the same thing happens to Duval a few feet later. And they've got to stay on line. You hit those trees, and it will be done in a hurry. They've also got to clear the lap riders and other classes who are probably exhausted 3 hours into this event. But meanwhile, your leaders look fresh. Once again, the story's the same. Duval, a great ride, tons of speed. He did everything right. But Caleb Russell continues to have the magic secret down the stretch, and he gets his 3rd win of the season. What a race. Another instant classic between these two. Man, and remember Duval, they mentioned the start. He was last early, came all the way back to lead it. Let's talk to our winner, Caleb Russell.
That was fun. It was got a great start. We figured out a little technique that we're gonna keep secret, but I don't know. It's so hit and miss with me. I mean, some days I'll be battling for that whole shot. Some days I'm dead last. But I got a great start, got a whole shot, and I was like, whew. And just kind of set the tone. And I made a little. I went into a little mud hole and I stuck the front end and I tipped over, and Ricky and Bollinger got around me. And I kind of just let them ride. They were going faster than I wanted to go on the first lap, and I was just content. And we had a great battle. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. And I was able to, he got in front of me around the 6.5, 7 mile marker. And then right before we got to 9, I was able to get him back and, hold on. But I was definitely pushing and had a couple close calls.
Oh, you bet he did. But it pays off with a win. Duval, a great ride. Stu Baylor pushes out for a 3rd. Let's talk to Thad.
I'm happier with today's ride than the last 2 races for sure. Even though about one in South Carolina, I still didn't feel like I rode the best I could. But today, man, I just, I laid it all on the line. I tried to lead and I actually got in the lead, and dude, I looked back and there was like 7 dudes behind us. I'm like, holy smokes, everybody's right here. So I just, I don't know, shifted up another gear and decided when I got the 2 lap board, I said it's time to go. And it was roles reversed this time. Caleb kind of locked onto me, and I pulled us a pretty good gap, and Yeah, we passed each other like 2 or 3 times the last lap, but I don't know, I'm happy with today. You know, he rode good, I rode good, rode the best I could, and the bike worked awesome today, man. The track was awesome. I love coming back to this place. It's one of my favorite places for sure, and yeah, just go home and work the next 3 weeks and come back and try to win again.
And what an effort, as we mentioned, Stu Baylor pushing toward a podium. He was way back early. Jersey took a hit as well.
Yeah, you know, I got sick the first lap. As soon as we hit the woods, my stomach started getting a little upset. I don't know if it was something I drank, something I ate. I don't know. I just had to pull over and puke a few times, and, you know, it put me, I think, outside of the top 10, which was tough for me to come back from. But, you know, it is what it is, racing. You know, I didn't do anything abnormal. Everything was what I'm used to doing, so I really don't know what happened. But yeah, I got sick that first lap and basically dealt with that all day. And then finally, you know, I was like, all right, this is it. You know, I can't throw it away. I think when I was about 7th place, I was like, all right, it's time to go. You know, these guys, they're right there. And I was closing the gap, and you know, we would close the gap and then hit another XC1 rider and kind of get held up, and it was back and forth like that. You know, I knew I had the speed, just wasn't my day.
It's always an adventure in a 3-hour Grand National cross-country race. Here's our Amsoil race recap. This was not indicative at all of how the race would go. Caleb Russell gets the hole shot, and then in turn 2, Thad Duvall, who was 3rd, would go down, and he was in last. Thad would eventually rally all the way back to the lead. Ricky Russell took the lead from Caleb Russell early on. Trevor Bollinger was in the hunt. There's Caleb being pushed back to 3rd, and Thad on the comeback trail up to 4th. And then Russell's day ended while he was leading the race. Bike problems, so frustrating. He was riding so well. Here's Duvall now in the number 1 spot. Bollinger keeping he and Caleb Russell honest, but eventually they would shake him and it would come down to this dynamic duo, as it has so many times last season, and now we've had several classics already this year. Battle would continue. Duvall would retake the lead from Russell. But look at Russell. It's only round 3, but this might be the move of the season. Wide open over this crest, able to hold it on the inside, get the lead back from Duvall. Duvall did everything he could to get him back. That's when they were able to pull away from everyone else. In this final field section, Russell knew he had to be far enough away so Duvall couldn't try to make a pass on him in the open stuff. He wasn't close enough to do it. Just like at our race in Florida, Duvall had his chances, but Russell just figures out how to get it done on the final lap. So congratulations to him on the win. Congrats to Cody Barnes, who wins the XC3 class, and Ben Kelly now 2 in a row in XC2. Boy, some great racing out here today. For everyone at Racer TV, I'm Jason Wadgat. Thanks for watching.